Hello, hello, hello. I am Mon43, coach of your Seattle Scarfers, and I'm here for our week one. Unfortunately, this is future Mon right here. This is long after. This is actually like almost a week after this match, and I'm actually setting up for my second match. However, I realized after the fact that everything I recorded, for some reason, just decided to not record audio with it. So I had to come back over after everything's done, after I moved on from this week, just to re-edit in my voice, so you actually know what's going on. So we're starting off here with in our week one against the New England Ninetales. New England Ninetales have a team that I should have pulled up before I started recording, because I was pretty familiar with it last week, but not so much anymore. Moved on mentally, although I haven't really prepared for this week either. But New England Ninetales have a pretty spooky team: Necrozma, Volcarona, Alolan Ninetales, Roserade, Rotom Row, Dredigan, Lantern, Terrakion, Corviknight, Mudsdale, Rhydon, and Rotom Frost. It's a really interesting team, in all honesty. I thought, going over it, just glancing over it, that it wouldn't be all that threatening, because it's got a lot of double ups. It's like 2 ice types, 2 grass types, 2 psychic types, 2 electric types. I don't know if that's 2 psychic types, I don't remember. But it's a bunch of typings doubled up, so I thought I could bring very consistent coverage and just deal with it. However, what I actually realized with this team is the double ups are diverse enough so that I don't I can't. They do different things. They do way different things. Roserade's offensive pressure versus Rotom Mow's defensive pressure in grass types is kind of hard to judge. Mudsdale's consistent tanking versus Rhydon just sheer tanking, kind of that. Little bit of that too. On top of that too, there's Alolan Ninetales next to a Necrozma, Volcarona, Terrakion, and Corviknight. Those are 2 terrifying, both physical and special sweepers. With Corviknight, Terrakion on the physical side, Necrozma, Volcarona. Necrozma can be both, but just for now, special side. Able to set up and really, really threaten basically any team. It has me I've been spooked. I realized that this was a harder team to prep for than I thought. I think I prepped well. I like the team I'm bringing to this match, or I should say brought. It's Future Mon, but I'm pretending. I like the team I brought to this match, but there's just that uncertainty. If it's basically if I give him too much leeway, I lose. It's basically what the game state that I'm dealing with. Because if I let Necrozma pop up, Volcarona pop up, Terrakion, or Corviknight, especially Corviknight, I figured out prepping for this thing that I don't have the best answers to Corviknight. It's going to be a hard matchup. Now, I'm actually going to go over my team quickly, just because I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to get the draft breakdown out before or after this video. So just so you know, our team is Dragapult, Sylveon, Cobalion, Talonflame, Seismitoad, Scrafty, Stunfisk, Gothitelle, Tentacruel, Porygon 2, Tangle, and Pinsir. So I have a lot of options, but when it comes to something like that Talonflame, that Corviknight, not as much as I was like. I can threaten, my electric type is Stunfisk. Stunfisk is about 40% max special attack. My fire type is Talonflame. Talonflame usually a physical attacker. I could do some special Dragapult sets, but I kind of want to use it differently. And Porygon 2 can kind of do some damage, but I don't have anything that deals with it well. My best bet is really trapping it with Gothitelle, but it carries U-turn, and Gothitelle, it would have to be Specs, and it would still only be a 2-hit KO. So I have some major issues when it comes to Corviknight that I'm not sure how to deal with. I think I brought a good response, but not an optimal one, if that really makes sense. So let's actually get into the team. I've been talking for 4 minutes, I might as well start. Our first mon is going to be Scrafty. Assault Vest, Intimidate, Knockoff Rock Slide, Zen Headbutt, Brick Break with like almost max HP, a little attack, and a lot of special defense. This is my blanket Necrozma check. If it's a physical Necrozma, I'm gonna have to. I can still deal with it in all honesty, but if it's like a special Necrozma, Weakness Policy, Stored Power, Calm Mind, any of those kind of sets, Scrafty can come into any of them. Scrafty comes in on a +2 Heat Wave and takes 20%. It's insane. This is my Necrozma check. If Necrozma is on the board, I had to keep this thing healthy. That's really my only option. Necrozma is just such a threat. It's able to even without, like, if Necrozma is dealt with or something, it still functions very, very well. It takes Volcarona +2 Volcarona pretty well. Retaliates with a Rock Slide, Brick Break to break Ninetales Aurora Veil. I think it can survive a Moon Blast from a non-variant infested although the Ninetales, though I don't remember. It's been a while since I've done these calcs. Zen Headbutt's there for the likes of Roserade. Roserade's a little bit of an issue, but not crazy if I come in on that. And yeah, Knockoff is going to be my blanket item. If I can knock off like a Scarf on Terrakion, even giving it +1. Leftovers on Corviknight. Anything on Necrozma, it does about 60% Necrozma. I'm pretty sure I get nearly guaranteed to a KO. So it's Scrafty, very, very important. Next up, we are bringing Cobalion to the first week. And this is my first time ever using Cobalion. I'm excited to use it. It's bringing a pretty standard set: Taunt, Stealth Rock, Iron Head, Volt Switch, max speed Jolly to try to out speed tie Terrakion if need be. Though I don't really want it in the same spot as Terrakion. Terrakion could also come Scarf, so speed tie wouldn't be much. Max HP and then a little bit of attack. The attack investment, I think, is just for better rolls against Ninetales behind Aurora Veil. But this is a good check to Ninetales. I can come in on pretty much any move Ninetales throws out. It's probably going to be my guaranteed lead. I can taunt stuff like Roserade that might want to spike early, or Dredagon that wants to get up its rocks. I can also taunt like Mudsdale Rhydon, though taking an Earthquake is not exactly the preferable choice. Get my own Stealth Rocks off, Iron Head, just a little blanket damage, and Volt Switch for a little momentum. It's not the most important in this match, but rocks are very nice. Taunting to keep rocks off. Keeping rocks off the field is actually very important in this match. Is important, and just having like a Blizzard switch in. That's the big thing with Cobalion here. Next up, we are bringing Tangela. Tangela, max HP, max defense with the Eviolite and Regenerator. This is my Terrakion answer. This thing actually deals with Terrakion kind of amazingly, for most sets. It's a little awkward if he brings Banded Terrakion, unfortunately, but if he brings like Scarfed or Swords Dance, Tangela is able to switch on to either set. If he is Scarfed, I can come in, take a close combat, and guarantee heal off basically all the damage. I think a max roll on a close combat is 36%, so I would lose 3% in the match. I would take 3%. So basically just come in, take the close combat. If he stays in, Giga Drain him for like 60%. If he switches out, switch out 2, heal back all of my HP. Rinse and repeat every time Terrakion wants to come in. If he is Swords Dance on the other side, and I switch Tangela into a Swords Dance. Swords Dance close combat after the fact does about 66%. I can Giga Drain the following turn after the Swords Dance, take it, deal about 60% back, and then heal enough so that I'm not a 2-hit KO. And then if he wants to he's like, oh no, I lose this fight, he can switch out. And then I can switch out, and I basically just healed back to full. So I deal with both Terrakion sets perfectly with this. Leech Seed and Toxic, just in case Terrakion's dealt with, throw around some residual damage. Leech Seed on other mons would be nice, get some healing spread around. Toxic for those bulky boys. If Rotom comes in, Mudsdale comes in, something like that. Knock off, just kind of remove items if I can get items off, especially like the Rotoms, like a potential Scarf, like Kelly off of Ninetales, heavy duty boots off of Volcarona. I can do a lot with just throwing around knockoffs, getting the items off, though I do have to be a little careful of the weakness policy Necrozma, but as long as I keep Scrafty safe, I should be fine in that regard. Next up, we're getting to the more offensive. I knew I was going to bring Dragapult, and I knew I was going to bring specifically a Dragon Dance variant of Dragapult. Looking at his team, he doesn't have the fastest things. I'm not expecting him to have anything that can, outspeed a Dragapult. So a Scarfer is going to be his response to that. My first thought, and it's actually one of my more favorite Ninetales sets, is Scarf Ninetales into this. It's a pretty alright response, and I don't respond too well to it. I could bring Steel Wing, though 90% accuracy, and I hate anything that isn't 100% accuracy. I avoid it like the plague. But like regardless, to deal with this Dragapult, he's really lacking in priority. He is going to have to, and he's actually lacking on just things that want to take hits from Dragapults. He's going to have to bring something Scarfed. So that is why I am bringing Dragapult with Dragon Dance, because after I Dragon Dance, I guarantee outspeed everything on his team with only 116 speed. This thing is insane. 116 speed EVs, Adamant Nature. I'm actually not Adamant, I'm Quirky or Naive, I don't remember exactly which one, minus Defense. Dragon Dance, Dragon Darts, Phantom Force, Flamethrower with the Life Orb. This deals with most things on his team. Phantom Force knocks out Necrozma. Phantom Force plus Flamethrower knocks out Corviknight. Dragon Darts kills basically everything else on his board. Ninetales gets killed by a Phantom Force. I'm bringing the 2-turn move, which I'm not always the biggest fan of, but he actually lacks a normal type or a dark type that can switch into it. So I can throw Dragapult out, I can use Phantom Force, and I'm like, okay, something's going to either get chunked. Like, I don't even need to set up. This is max attack with positive nature, Phantom Force with Life Orb. Like, something's going to take a lot of damage, regardless if I have a Dragon Dancer up. So it's on them to choose. It's like, do I want to lose Ninetales? We're wrecking the Infiltrator ability, so even if Ninetales sets up Aurora Veil, it doesn't matter. We don't care, we ignore it. He's probably going to be my late game cleaner, though if I can get him in mid game to really, really break some holes, it would be nice. But right now, the team I'm kind of postulating, I think is the right term there, or throwing out is something that's a lot more defensive, a lot slower than I usually play, where I kind of delay with Scrafty, Cobalion, and Tangela, kind of switching between the three, and slowly weather stuff down so Dragon Ball can come in later in the game and Dragon Dance and kind of sweep from there. Relatively bulky, so we can take some hits. This thing's gonna do numbers. It's gonna do numbers. It's gonna do wonders. That's our main sweeper here. Next up is a really interesting set. I knew I could bring some really crazy sets on Talonflame. I wasn't expecting a set like this. I think this is like a weird looking set. Charcoal, Gale Wings, Flamethrower, Brave Bird, Will-O-Wisp, Roost with almost max speed. It sucks that I'm doing this cast after the fact because I actually messed up the speed on Talonflame, but battle's already done. I can't change it. It's actually supposed to be speed creeping Ninetales, but I'm actually 1 point slower than Ninetales. I'm only speed creeping Terrakion. So it's a little whoopsie daisies there. But this is a really interesting Talonflame set. As I said, I have so many issues with Corviknight. I cannot deal with the max special defense bulk up Corviknight well. So this is my Corviknight answer. It was originally it's gone through so many iterations until I settled this one. Flamethrower Charcoal with max attack Rash Nature guarantees that I will 2-hit KO a max special defense Corviknight. I outspeed because I'm Talonflame and I'm insanely fast. That is the key point of this Talonflame. If Corviknight is there, Talonflame chills in the back. I do not care if I'm going, if something else is going to lose and I need Talonflame to counter. Talonflame needs to stay safe. If it doesn't, I can just straight up lose to Corviknight and not really respond very well to it. Brave Bird is also very, very important there. Because this thing's main answer is, like, this is my main answer to Corviknight. However, I have responses to Volcarona, but Brave Bird Gale Wings makes this like a failsafe. I was originally Flame Body, hoping to get like a late game burn on either the Corviknight I'm checking, or if after the Corviknight's dealt with, Terrakion or something, or after I figured out it's like Defog Corviknight. I was originally Flame Body, but then I realized that I am a little lacking in the dealing with Volcarona department. So I switched over to Gale Wings with Brave Bird, because even with that no investment, I mean, I have 20 attack. I don't think I actually need the 20 attack. I think the 20 attack is just there for if they bring like a little bulk investment. I think they need like basically all their speed, so I don't think they're gonna cheap out of speed if they bring Volcarona. Volcarona's matchup's a little wishy-washy here, so it like if they don't, if Volcarona doesn't even show up, that's fine. But that Gale Wings plus Brave Bird guarantees Oko's a uninvested Volcarona and then some, so I can afford a little bulk. Will-O-Wisp later, for later in the game, if I'm gonna burn on like Terrakion, that'd be awesome. Anything else, Will-O-Wisp is basically once I've dealt with Corviknight. And then Roost to heal up, if like Corviknight isn't there or not a problem, I can bring it in earlier, as more of a defensive check, you know, throw around Will-O-Wisps, see what I hit and Roost up so I maintain that Gale Wings, and just in case he brings Volcarona. But it's a very, very important set that I'm bringing. Charcoal item was just needed to bring it over, and I couldn't bring Life Orb with Gale Wings. Was basically that's the gist of this set. This is such an important set for Talonflame, a mon I've never used before, and now I'm using it for the first time ever with just a wacky set like that. And wow, we're hitting 17 minutes of just a team builder, so I should hurry stuff up so I can get to the battle. My last, not least, mon is Tentacruel. Tentacruel is honestly a little just tacked on here. I need hazard control. I don't have heavy duty boots on Talonflame. Talonflame is my main defogger. I needed to bring something else. Rapid Spin Tentacruel is here. Tentacruel still like serves a pretty good point. You can come in like stuff like Roserade and come in Ninetales. They'll take a freeze dry all right and return with the Sludge Bomb. Rapid Spin Scald, Sludge Bomb Haze with the Black Sludge Clear Body. Rapid Spin for hazards, Scald. If I can throw around some burns against a lot of his team, it's pretty nice. Sludge Bomb for, you know, those important fairies. Rotomo wants to come in, try to, you know, be mean to my Tentacruel. We take it just fine. And Haze, because he just has so much setup. If he's bulk up Corviknight and I can kind of just slide this thing in, it's pretty fast. I don't have much speed on it, but even so, base 100 is relatively fast. We might actually outspeed. I basically just threw those 20 EVs on just in case they try to speed creep. But we're mostly just there to come in, sponge some special attack hits, and keep rocks off the field. Because if he's able to keep rocks on the field, and Corviknight comes in, I might just lose. I think a +1 Brave Bird does 50% to Talonflame. So that is the team. That's the game plan. We're gonna keep it kind of slow and steady. Eventually whittle stuff down, use my direct checks against their direct threats, and then hopefully win with Dragon Bolt in the end. So that's going to be just following this. I'm recording this in the same setting, so I'll catch you in just a second as I switch over my scene. And we're back with the battle. More footage of me talking over my pre-existing footage. Unfortunately, no audio got recorded. I have no clue why, and it kind of is driving me nuts. Hopefully I could fix that by my week 2, which is in a couple days. So, still future mon. I do not like post comms. I will try to shoot for live comms every other time, but this is what I got. So they brought a lot of the threats I was worried about. Low the Ninetales is here, Terrakion is here, Corviknight, the big issue, Corviknight right there. Mudsdale is a little bit of an issue. It's a pretty reliable rocker. Necrozma's here, so Scrafty needs to stay relatively healthy. And Roserade's actually an interesting bring. Roserade has a lot of coverage that I wasn't really expecting. I didn't really prep as much as I could have for a Roserade, so I might have some issues dealing with Roserade in the future. But I've relatively prepped for everything else. I can face tank a Mudsdale. I'm pretty tough. So as you see, I'm already leading Cobalion. That was my lead. If he wants to read Roserade, I taunt it, so he can't get spikes up or anything like that. He's probably going to lead Mudsdale, and hopefully we can just kind of, you know, handshake away rocks. Hopefully this moves faster. I remember Lightning as being one of the more slower, deliberate players, which can be kind of annoying to watch sometimes, but it's like, it means you're getting a good battle, because you know your opponent is thinking out every play as it happens as thoroughly as they can. So here we have our leads, Cobalion versus Mudsdale, kind of expected. We're just going to shake off rocks. I wanted to taunt, but taunt actually doesn't end up being that beneficial to me. If he earthquakes, I take 50%, I block his rocks, and if he earthquakes after the fact, I kind of lose that trade out and lose a lot of HP, so I just accepted we handshake the rocks, and I could Rapid Spin on Tentacruel. Switching in Noodles. Noodles is just an okay switch in for a little bit. See how he responds to that. Fire off a knockoff. Mudsdale doesn't really do anything to Noodles as he switches into Roserade. I'm going to knock off its interesting brings, the Shed Shell, which makes sense. It's to deal with my Got the Tail, which I ended up not bringing. Now I'm kind of into this awkward space spot with Roserade. I don't have the best answers. I have Krakatoa, though, that can come in and take Sludge Bomb like there's no tomorrow. 16%, though, is actually a crazy amount. I don't have the calcs on me. I don't think I calced this Roserade. I was just like, oh no, it hurts, because, oh yeah, now it's got extra sensory. And I'm like, oh, well, that's oof. That hurts. What do I do here now? Because, like, Mudsdale's still alive. Mudsdale could still get rocks up. I need to do something before Krakatoa goes down, because I can't really afford to take another extra sensory. And the coverage on this thing is pretty strong. So I don't know. No, I haven't clicked my move yet, but I know what happens. I end up actually making a poor decision here. And I'm like, well, if he's going to just keep clicking extra sensory, I can double in Scrafty. So switch in Scrafty and then switch it out for probably Cobalion in the end turn goal. However, he protects me. I did not realize that thing got Dazzling Gleam, and I take a lot of damage. 56% is kind of spooky, because I can still check Necrozma that I end up having to double out into Cobalion, not surprising. I can still check Necrozma with Scrafty, and even if I can't, I can still come in and intimidate stuff. It is the best ability in the game. But that's a little nerve-wracking. That's a bad start. I don't really have the best response to this Roserade that's just sitting there, firing super effective coverage on basically every mon I have. And it's already done considerable damage to both my Tentacruel and my Scrafty. So not my favorite start. Gallant comes back in into Mudsdale. I switch back into Tangela, full health, takes the Earthquake like it's nothing. I don't remember how I follow up. I think I switch expecting the double. I expect him to double into Roserade again. So I make the more aggressive play into Burb. I don't want to be playing Burb right now. I really, really need Talonflame. But like that Roserade is actually an issue. Turns out he was not doubling into that, so I had to actually double back into Noodles so I don't get Rock Slide. I do get Toxic, which means I can never have my Gale Wings up. However, it's cool. No Volcarona, so that's fine. We both trade Toxics and then miss. Noodles is honestly fine with this chip damage. As long as he's not like Choice Banded Terrakion, I can sit with a Toxic, take 30%, keep switching out. I really don't mind this thing with Toxic. Here is where I have to kind of go like, okay, what are they going to do next? They're not going to keep Mudsdale in. If they do, it's going to be to throw rocks. Do they throw rocks? or do they switch into Rose Raid? He ends up picking the rocks. I end up predicting correctly and getting a free Giga Drain off. I also get, I would have learned a couple turns ago, but that I'm actually faster. My Tangela is actually faster than this Mudsdale. So I can click Giga Drain again, but if Rose Raid comes back in, I'm in a bad sort. I can switch into Krakatoa to Rapid Spin off these rocks, but if he like predicts that and just goes for an Earthquake, he kind of sees that I'm doing some predictive moves, so I could see him predicting that. Or I could make this kind of mid-ground with Gallant. If he Earthquakes, it's going to hurt, but Gallant can take it for about 50%. I end up doing so, and I read the switch into Rose Raid, which is awesome. And I believe I just fire off an Iron Head into this thing. I just need this Rose Raid gone. This Rose Raid is taken like a good beating. It's at 48%. I need it gone. So I just hit that Iron Head. A flinch would be nice. Don't get it. He throws out a Dazzling Gleam, but this thing now dies to rocks. And his only removal is Corviknight. So, bam, another Iron Head. Rose Raid is gone. That is such a big problem dealt with. Gallant is damaged, but Gallant, honestly, his HP is not that important. It's a Blizzard switch in, but I really don't mind switching in like Krakatoa at this point, or just revenging for Gallant. He also probably just doesn't want to switch Ninetales into Gallant in general, so we're pretty solid here. But like, that Rose Raid dealt with is a huge weight off my back. I did not properly prep for it. I really didn't have the best responses to it. Turns out Gallant, just sitting out there with Gallant, is the choice. He switches into Terrakion for the Revenge, which is a smart play. However, I just go into Noodles. I end up taking 50% for that switch in, as he does about 35%. Max attack, it doesn't really give away much of what this Terrakion is set. So I end up taking about 50%, which is awkward. But I can fire off a Giga Drain in return, and then heal off with Regenerator. He actually goes into Corviknight, which scares the crap out of me. And I can't go into Talonflame right now. So I end up switching into Tentacruel. Just like desperation. If he went for like a body press, I lose my Corviknight response right there, because Talonflame takes 50% from rocks. Like that Corviknight switch in was actually terrifying, because he could just click it, like bulk up there, and do some massive damage. I still have Burb in the back, but this aggressive switch into Krakatoa ends up really doing wonders as he U-turns, and it's hopefully he picks. He's very deliberate with his switches, so he has to think like, what does he want into this Tentacruel? And I'm actually curious what his choice is on. Never mind. He goes into Terrakion, which is awkward. That's right. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I can take something from this Corviknight. Let me go in so I can Rapid Spin and bring Talonflame in later. I end up taking the U-turn to the face, and then he gets another switch to Terrakion, which is a really good play on his part. Again, my response to Terrakion coming in every time is going to be Tangela. Tangela is actually taking some damage. He goes for the Rock Slide, trying to protect the Talonflame coming in, which is really nice, because Noodle takes that a lot better, and it's going to basically take no damage after rocks and that. He switches in Mudsdale, which I think is a really interesting choice. It dies to it, and as you notice, I predict him to switch out with Corviknight. I bring in Tentacruel, and I just immediately Rapid Spin the rocks. If he wants to play the game where he clicks Stealth Rocks, I click Rapid Spin. We can. I win that game because he's toxic. But he ends up just going for the Earthquake, killing my Tentacruel, and now I can just send something in here, Revenge Guild the Mudsdale, and rocks are gone. They're like, unless Necrozma is secretly a rocking set, or I think Terrakion probably gets them. Unless one of those are secretly a rock set, I've dealt with the rocks, which means Talonflame is free. I end up going into Dragapult for the Revenge, and I actually misclicked. I ended up clicking the correct move in the grand scheme of things, but I actually wanted to Dragon Dance in front of the Mudsdale. Just let it die. It didn't really do that much damage back to me. Maybe it toxicked, and then I could do some major damage with the Dragon Dance here. However, Dragon Dance and Dragon Darts actually look very similar. So I messed up there. He brings in Necrozma. Interesting response to my Dragapult firing off the Dark Pulse. I'm a little curious on what he, like his real plan was there. I'm not 100% sure what this Necrozma set is. I meant to ask him and I never did. But that's his response to Dragapult, which is interesting, which is awesome. Basically, anytime Dragapult comes in, I can just bring in Scrafty as a response. I can kill with Dragapult, he responds with Necrozma, and then I just return with Scrafty. He ends up bringing Ninetales out. I need to switch out regardless. Gabalion is my best answer here. He just fires out the Moonblast for the aggressive play. Not very surprising. It took rocks damage, so it's not heavy duty boots. Probably the Scarf that I predicted, maybe. I don't know. This is where I learned I actually did not speed creep the Talonflame. If you notice, my speed is 347, and the max speed on Ninetales is 348. So I could have kept that Aurora Veil from going up, but I little misgen that. However, that's another mon out of the way. Ninetales is done with, gone. He brings back Terrakion. The way he brings Terrakion in like this is telling me it's probably a Scarf Terrakion, which is a weight off my back. Tangela, again and again, is always going to be my switch-in to Terrakion. He actually brought X-Scissor, which I thought was cool. And it actually ends up doing less damage than close combat. But I thought that was a spot good prep. I believe I can take another X-Scissor and then respond with a Giga Drain. I believe is my response here. If he crits me, it's gonna be bad. But yeah, I'm kind of waffling between Leech Seed and Giga Drain here, whether he's gonna stay in or whether he's gonna switch to Corviknight. I end up going for Leech Seed because I can take the X-Scissor and then I live off of the Leech Seed. Yeah, heal to about 28%. So I'm playing with fire with Tangela here. I still do need Tangle late game. However, Tangela doesn't need to be that healthy, just because of how strong Regenerator is. I switched this out and it's going back up to 41%, which is enough to take another Terrakion attack. I do have to switch it out here. So I go in very aggressively into Dragapult here. X-Scissor does nothing. Absolutely nothing. The Aurora Veil means... The Aurora Veil, X-Scissor does nothing. Aurora Veil means nothing. He actually switches into Necrozma, which is a really interesting switch. And I'm like, wait, this is his Dragapult answer. I need to get out of here. So back to Scrafty. Again, like even at 40%, Scrafty does not care. It takes nothing from Necrozma. And I kind of waffle over, do I go for the knockoff for damage? He's going to stay in. He doesn't. I end up picking correctly, going with the Brick Break to do some good damage, little extra damage with that crit to Corviknight. And then I'm debating just hard switching into Talonflame or going for the knockoff. I end up knocking off, just getting rid of the leftovers, getting rid of some of his sustain, and kind of forcing a roost this turn, as he shows he is bulk up, which is horrific. This is the nightmare scenario. He brought bulk up Corviknight, but I have Burb in the back. I take +1 anything, and then I can fire off 2 flamethrowers and guaranteed 2-hit KO. And the burn is pretty clutch. It's not like I would have taken too much more damage, and this thing isn't that much useful. Like HP on this thing is not that useful. 2 flamethrowers, knock out Corviknight. Huge weight off my back. Now all that's left is Terrakion, which I can consistently intimidate and switch into Tangela, and Necrozma, which doesn't do anything to Scrafty, even though it's 26%. I have 4 solid Mons, and I have this useless bird that can still be a pain in the neck. I'm in a really great position here. There's still a chance that Terrakion clicking the right moves could pull off the game, but he's been playing it like it's Scarf. I actually didn't think about him responding to Talonflame with Terrakion kind of indicating Scarf. I was pretty sure at this time I was just playing off like he is playing this like it's a Scarf. Like doubling up on the X-Scissor, never switching moves. Like I'm pretty sure this is a Scarf Terrakion, which means he cannot click close combat, or Dragapult just comes in and gets a free Dragon Dance. So I'm in a pretty solid spot. I just click Will-O-Wisp just in case. That confirms that he's Scarf. I do kind of a weird move on paper, and then you kind of realize that what I'm doing. I send in Scrafty before I switch in Tangela. I need to keep Scrafty alive for Necrozma, obviously. And I send Scrafty in just for that Intimidate, and then I actually end up switching to Dragapult. I was like, Rock Slide only does about 40% at -1. I can switch in Dragonpult pretty happily here, and then fire off a Dragon Dance. This is only a little bit of a misplay. If things don't end up right, I actually get the perfect situation though, as he switches on my Dragon Dance, and then I click Phantom Force. Regardless who he wants to bring in, one of them is dying to Phantom Force. I click Phantom Force, kill Necrozma. I click Dragon Darts, kill Terrakion. He's going to be a little slow here. He's really like deliberate, as I've said with all his plays. So he's trying to figure out, is there some way I can pull it out? Which I totally respect that play. I totally respect that. Is there some way I can pull back this game? Unfortunately, Dragon Darts kills. I outspeed. And there's nothing he can do. For a really good game. This Dragon Dance was a little bit of a misplay. Only a little bit though, because if he stayed and went for a Rock Slide, I'd be knocked to 8%. And in that situation, if he flinched me, I would have been in a bad spot. But in that situation, because of Life Orb, I would only be getting 1 kill on Dragapult before it goes down. However, whichever Mon fills the spot, Necrozma I could probably beat, as well as if it was Terrakion's the last one, what I could end up doing is switch Scrafty in, get Intimidate, switch it out for Tangela, switch it back in, and just keep rotating Intimidates. So in the end, Dragon Darts is all I need. The Dragon Dance comes off successfully, and I end up sweeping the last 2 Pokemon for a 3-0 for our first game against the New England Ninetales. A really exciting match, honestly. That was intense. It went to, I think, 44 turns. It says 42 on the side there, but I'm pretty sure there's 2 more hidden that wasn't recorded. A great 44 match game. Lightning really did pull out a scary team to deal with. Kind of started off on the back foot, not being able to answer to that Rose Raid, but after the Rose Raid went down, I got Tentacruel in at the perfect time to then Rapid Spin. It was actually an aggressive play. If he just doubled up on the Rock Slide with Terrakion, Krakatoa goes down. I take a lot of damage from Corviknight. If I don't get a burn, I would probably die after 1 attack, and I'd probably have to switch into Spyro. It would be a different match, but the way it turned out, it was awesome. I think it was a really good show of skill. Little luck here and there, but nothing crazy. And in the end, I was just able to get a Dragon Dance in kind of an unopportune situation. I got lucky though that he switched into Necrozma, and from there it was all in. We're gonna end with Necrozma getting 3 kills, Talonflame getting 2, and Cobalion getting 1. Talonflame really showing up this match. I played it a little too aggressively, especially after I realized I misspeeded. I misprepped its speed for Ninetales, which was really unfortunate. Although in the end it only just made a Aurora Veil go up, that didn't actually matter much in the grand scheme of things. And Dragapult, our first pick, one of the best Pokemon you could pick in draft, in Pokemon period, is able to pick up a 3-0 and get a successful Dragon Dance off. So that was a really exciting game. I'm looking forward to week 2. I'm just started prepping for it actually, and I hope to catch everybody around when that comes along. Thanks for watching. I'm Mon43, coach of your Seattle Scarfers, and I'll see you next week.